Allison, I'm going to ask you that very same question. How has John impacted on your life?
Oh, John just has this tremendous energy, and we met, and he always kind of forces everyone. I won't say forces because it's not aggression. In this very natural way, he inspires us all to be brave, I think, and to follow our own path, and to listen to our own inner voice. And that's what he always does for me.
That's awesome. Tima, what is the one thing you would like us to know about John?
Like to know about John?
Yeah.
Well, that he's on to something. And I think he's on to something deeper than what he is actually talking about here. And I think he's on to something deeper than just the steps from fear to love. And what John reminds me of is this story from Plato's Republic, and Socrates is talking to Plato's brother. And he tells him the story about the allegory of the cave. And there are these prisoners, and they have their hands shackled behind them. And they're looking at a wall, and behind the prisoners is a fire. And behind the fire are these people walking by with different things. And these prisoners are shackled like this, and they're just seeing the shadows on the wall. And I think John is one of those few prisoners that Socrates mentions that actually gets himself unshackled and turned around and saw that fire. And that's a very, very difficult state to be in. And, you know, you try to make it simple. And then Socrates goes on to say later, he goes, well, what if that guy got out of the cave and he even saw the sun? And what if that guy was stupid enough to come back down into the cave and tell the prisoners what he saw? Would he get killed? Would they think he's an idiot?
Yeah.
So I think that John's a little bit of an idiot because, you know, he could have just stayed out there and he could have explored the fire and he could have explored what was behind what he's gotten a glimpse of. And he's one of those people that goes, oh, the sun, I gotta go back, and, you know, and I gotta go tell everybody. And I don't know what Socrates didn't mention what will actually happen. He was talking hypothetically.
All right, I think that's really true, and that's how we experienced John. What is one thing about John that you don't want us to know?
I think everybody knows that John's exuberance and things like that, what's that gonna do? Is that gonna get him into... I just think he's going to get burned out and tired, and that's what I feel. I think he's going to get tired of, and the one thing about John, I want to make sure that I think there's a little bit of a, you know, when you first get that first dose of spiritual glimpses, everybody's gotten them at one point in their lives, and you become really narcissistic about it, and I just don't want him to go that way, you know. Even this show is all about him now. This is like the epitome of New York narcissism. I mean, I've been living in Europe for 25 years. I'm a New Yorker, but I go, look at that. He just woke up, and there's a show about him, and we're talking about him, and we're talking about his spiritual effects so soon. And I just think that why, you know, do that? That's what I don't want people to know, but now they do.
Okay, absolutely. Allison, where do you see John in 5 years?
You know what? I have no idea, and I think that John has no idea, and that's the beauty of John, and I think that's one of the ways he always inspires me is to sort of plan a little less. And I think the thing about John is, and it's fun to watch him on this show because this is John in his essence, and this is who he is all the time. It's not like a switch. It's like there's just John mode, and I think that's kind of what John's sort of come into, and just this realization that he doesn't know where he's going to be, and that he's okay with it, and that's sort of the hardest thing I know for me.
It's a free fall.
Yeah, I always want to know where I'm going, and John sort of always reminds me of the beauty in letting go of you know, having to have that control.
That's awesome. Yeah. Rick, I want to ask you, since you seem to know John the longest, has John's metaphysical journey and his discoveries impacted on your life? And if so, can you share an anecdote about that?
Wow. I think his example of of what I had mentioned earlier about his insatiable appetite, a kid-like quality of wanting to learn as much as he can learn and find the truth. Metaphysical. I have to say that his ability to feel comfortable with the uncomfortable, okay, would, again, his example, that example that he shows helps to be an inspiration to know that when you're in situations you don't feel comfortable with, you know, get used to it because that's what life is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. That's awesome.
So I think just feeling uncomfortable or feeling comfortable with being uncomfortable. Does that make sense, John?
Absolutely. Positively. Walking in those shoes, being the little girl. That's my life. I like that.
Except you're a boy.
Yeah.
Except for-
Yeah, you don't look in high heels.
I really have a problem.
Tim, I want to ask you a question. What is it about John that compels you to come on this show and talk about him?
Oh, he asked me to. Begged me to. No. He said, please come on the show. No. What compels me?
Yeah.
Well, that was the initial thing.
Yes.
But I really
And
wanted to
beyond
see
that.
him in action. I wanted to see, because I see him, you know, personally. We talk as friends, you know, we go out and talk, but I haven't seen him under the gun. I mean, I wanted to see if his intuition can come through and his light can come through under so much pressure, you know, and it does. It does. Actually, it comes through a lot better when you're under a lot of pressure. Actually, with a lot of fear, it even comes in better. So I mean, he definitely has an intuitive channel. I remember meeting this Greek mystic once, and he told me at one point I had some spiritual opening experiences, and he said, "Ugh, you're the stupidest saint I ever met. You're an idiot. You're so dumb. You don't even know who you are, you know." And when I met John, that's what I feel too. He's like stupid. He's like, he doesn't realize how much he knows and what he's doing. And but when he starts downloading, when there's a question, that's the cue for him to download, and he does. And he does it really well. He's got it.
Yes, he does, yeah. Allison, what is it about John that compels you to come on the show and talk about him?
I think, well, you know, actually, I should say this sort of not just right now, but wholly with everything. Whenever John ever asks me to do anything, you never know it's going to happen.
You're a big
You
yes.
know,
Yeah.
it's an adventure, and
Yes.
you have to say yes to the adventure, right? So this is no different. Whenever John asks me to do anything, I always think, okay, and I can just see him saying, why not? So I
Right.
kind of say that to myself.
Rick, same question.
I've seen John evolve in the last, 10 years. That for the way that he grasped his situation and just continues, like I said, that insatiable appetite, that kid-like quality that causes him to just be successful in whatever he does. And that, to me, he's a good friend, and it's inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see him in 5 years?
I have to piggyback on what Allison said. You know, John can be wherever he wants to be. It's just going to be depending upon, you know, his where he wants to direct his energies. I mean,
He could be a waiter in Canada.
You're right.
Just because it was
Tima?
fun to him one day.
Tima, where do you see John in 5 years?
Oh, well, no, I don't know.
You do know, but you're not saying.
Well, because I've done his astrology chart, so it's kind of a stupid question for me. So.
Yeah. Well, you kind of know.
I don't know. Tell me.
Huh? Well,
don't
I
know.
have you can have a rendezvous. No, I'm joking. I don't know. It really, I agree. John is like the Fool card in the tarot. He's just this pure force right now, this indomitable force. I don't know where it will lead him. I don't know. I just think that maybe city life for a while. He loves New York. I know that.
He does.
And his meditation is even. You can market this New York meditation. I was listening to you. I go, that's really cool. That's a very great way of going in between dimensions and things like that. But I don't know. Sometimes you need to, be like free. And I see John like a cowboy. How's that? Just like they do. You never know where he's going to be.
Riding off into the sunset.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What's the one thing about John you want us to know?
This is for me.
It's for you.
I think, it's hard because I think John is to me such an open sort of channel, and he'll give you anything you need to know about him in any given moment. I think I would say, and I touched upon this before, this is his reality, and there's a very genuine force that comes out of him. It's not something that he turns on or off.
What's one thing you don't want us to know about John?
It's interesting because I was listening to Tima answer,
Just
and,
one thing,
and there's
one thing.
nothing. I just think it's all part of him. There's nothing I wouldn't want anyone to not know about anyone. It all comes out when it's supposed to come out, and there's nothing to hide there.
Thank you. I thank you all. I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show. And John, you relax. You have a seat. This has been a wonderful experience getting I know John, but I've learned a little bit more about you, John, so thank you. And you watching at home, you can take this journey. Gather friends, choose friends that you feel a trust and comfortable with, and email them these questions. What is it that you admire about me? What is it that you don't admire about me? What is it that makes you want to listen to me? What is it that makes you not want to listen to me? I think it's a wonderful exploration of how you impact on people's lives, probably in a way you don't even know and where you fall short. So then email us on whereisbuddhababy.com and share with us some of the responses that you got. I think it's a great journey for you, and we would certainly love to hear about that. I want to talk about next week's show. It's called Wishes Need Action, and we have a very, very special guest. Her name is Lady Colleen Heller, and we're very excited about that show. So thank you for watching. We have loved coming into your homes. And once again, I want to thank our guests, Tima, Allison, Rick, and of course you, Dr. John Querci. Thank you, John. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.